Hi, everybody. Welcome to another edition of Bango Magazine, and it's an exciting edition because our football team just beat the #1 team in the country, and we're going to talk to Jerry Boyce a little bit about that. But first up, Maria DePeters from women's volleyball is going to join us, and she's bringing along Kelsey Bashore. And then Dustin Dimit will talk cross-country along with Bumkoth Jiak, his freshman from Syracuse. And then Jerry Boyce is going to join us along with Brandon Hodgins, his senior defensive back. So we've got a lot to talk about. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk volleyball. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bango Magazine. We are joined by women's volleyball, and that means Maria DePeters is here along with Kelsey Bashore. And welcome, ladies. First time on the show, only the second show of the season. So now in your second season as head coach, tell us how the year is going so far.
It's going great. We're 11-3. We couldn't really ask for anything more. Got a great group of freshmen that came in this year and really just totally stepped into a lot of major roles, and the upperclassmen have just been fantastic with them, with bringing them along, and we've just had a great season so far.
Well, I could ask that you could be 15-0. I suppose that would be all right too.
That would
14-0,
be,
but 11.
Nice.
Let me ask you about 11-3 though.
Sure.
That meets your expectations? Does it exceed your expectations about where you thought you'd be at this time of season?
I think it does both. It definitely meets my expectations because I knew the talent that I had coming in this year, and it exceeds it from looking at how we did last year. The first tournament we went to was Cortland Invitational, and we went 3-1, and we made it to the championship game, and that's something that this program's never done before. Okay. Second weekend at Baldwin Wallace, we went 2-2, where the year before we went 0-4, and we lost games by 2 points in that fifth set, so we could have went 3-1. And then this last weekend we went 4-0, so we're improving every single weekend, and the girls have really stepped up.
Now, the young lady sitting next to you, Kels, you're from Antwerp, Ohio, and you were telling us off camera that it's a one-stop light kind of town. So where is it in relation to maybe Cleveland or Columbus, and how does one go from Ohio to, I believe, Louisiana and then Buffalo State?
It's kind of close to Toledo. I'm actually closer to Indiana, but it's just a very small town, and growing up, living in the country, I always kind of had the urge to travel and find somewhere new. So when Louisiana offered me my scholarship, I was like, absolutely. I jumped at the opportunity just to try something new. I ended up finding Buffalo State because Louisiana dropped the program I was in, the fashion and textile technology, and I knew I still wanted to play volleyball. So in order to finish up there, I wouldn't have been able to play anymore.
Well, I think that's important to note because student athletes are student first and then athlete, and we, Buffalo State, had fashion textile, so the two matched up beautifully. And she's a key player for you right now. What does she provide your team?
What doesn't Kelsey provide, really,
oh my gosh,
is the question. She provides knowledge to the team, playing at a high level throughout high school and her club. She played for a really good club team and then playing at Louisiana for a year. She provides just leadership on the court. I mean, she's a fantastic setter, and she really knows the game inside and out. So the girls really look up to her, and she's just a dynamic player all the way around.
Yeah, I think that's important because you had mentioned the freshman and looking up, to Kelsey. She's an upperclassman, a junior, but she also has Division I blood in her and has seen it all. So that certainly helps in the locker room.
Yes, big time, definitely.
Tell me about your season last year, all conference, first year with us. Was that what you had expected, or did that kind of surprise you?
I wasn't expecting it. I didn't really know what to expect coming into Buffalo State, but I knew that I wanted to try to make a difference. So I knew coming in that I just needed to work as hard as I could. And, getting all conference was definitely a goal of mine after I realized how the season was going to go. But I didn't expect to get it. It was kind of a surprise.
Now, you're coming off a great weekend where you were 4-0 at the Ducks Invitational at Stevens. Tell me how that went. Did that go as planned? And what does that do for what would be called Big Mo, the momentum going into this weekend in SUNY pool play?
We definitely went into this past weekend with either wanting to come out 3-1 or 4-0.
Okay.
The first day we had a little ups and downs against that game with Stevens, but the girls just kept their composure on the court and they pulled it out in a great win at 5 with their fifth set, won 26-24, and you only played a 15. So we had a lot of people step up and positions that they needed to step up in, and it was just a great tournament where they pulled through and they got the job done.
As a student athlete, do you sense that too? Do you sense this program taking that next step up now that you're 11-3, you're coming off this wonderful weekend and now moving into pool play?
Yeah, definitely. I think that we've done a really good job at keeping good heads on our shoulders, and we know that we have to work hard. We know that we're a team to beat now. So it's nice coming from when I got here to now. I feel like we've improved a lot of thanks to coaches recruiting. We have a lot of good incoming freshmen and upperclassmen this year. Yeah. So I just feel, It's
interesting what you said, keeping the head on straight, and you're in an interesting position. Maybe the first time since you've been here is that there might be a little target on your back now. You're 11-3. You're starting to beat people that maybe you didn't beat before. How do you handle that as a coach in relation to your student athletes?
I think that we're handling it by making our schedule hard. I mean, really, right now we're regionally have one of the hardest schedules thus far throughout the season, and that is how we keep the pressure on the girls. Because if we can play the top teams in the country and the area, then we should be able to be successful in our conference, and that's how we keep the pressure with them. And when you have the talent to do it, then you need to go and do that. You need to play teams that, if they beat you, they beat you, but you know what? It was a great competition. It was a great game.
You're in the locker room, obviously. Do you sense any overconfidence, or how are the ladies handling this success?
I don't really sense overconfidence because half our team are first years, so they don't really know what to expect. So all they know is that we have to win, and that's our goal. So I don't think overconfidence is an issue, and we all get along really well. We all talk about everything we need to talk about in the locker room. So I just feel like, I think we're good on that.
About 30 seconds left in the segment. We're going down to pool play at Geneseo. We're going to take on Brockport, Oswego, and Fredonia. What are you looking for there?
We're just looking for a lot of heart. I mean, I tell the girls on any given day, any team in the SUNY can beat you. So we need to play mentally tough and with our hearts, because if you want to win the match inside here, you'll win the match. I mean, that's what it comes down to when you play conference play. Yeah, we can prepare and prepare and prepare, but if you really want it, you'll win the match.
Well, best of luck to you this weekend down at Geneseo, and thanks very much for being on the show, ladies.
Tom.
We're going to take a quick break, but before we do, I do want to note that the Athletics Hall of Fame is coming up as part of homecoming here at Buffalo State on October 27th, and we're inducting Gianni Busani from soccer, Lori Hutton, a softball player, Richard Harris from track, a national champion, in fact, Mustafa Jenna, also soccer, and Mike Rudney, a former soccer player, in the regular category, and then Sandy Hollander, a coach, administrator, and athletic trainer, will be inducted in the honorary category. Tickets are $20 for that great event. We consider it our most prestigious event of the year in athletics, and you can call my office at 878-6514 or email me on the screen. You have my email address for your tickets. $20 on October 27th for the Athletics Hall of Fame. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk cross country. Stay with us. Okay, we're going to go outside now and talk a little cross country. And Dustin Dimit, the head coach of the Bengals, now in his 4th year, along with Bumkoth Jiak. I hope I pronounced that right.
Yes, sir.
Not bad, huh?
Not bad
is joining us, a freshman from Syracuse. And we've got a lot to talk about in about 7 or 8 minutes to talk about it. But first time on the show, how's the season going for you right now, Coach?
We're happy with where things are so far. The guys have met or exceeded expectations a little bit, especially compared to last year. And the women have come a long way as well. And we already have 5 girls faster than where our second girl was last year. So definitely steps in the right direction.
Tell me now, the 4th year is the Dustin Dimit philosophy of cross country and creating a program starting to come to fruition here. Are you seeing the things that you had envisioned 4 years ago? And what are they?
Definitely. Coming in, we had a very small team and not as much as experience, even from incoming athletes, of how long they've run and the type of programs they came from, and kind of had to ease into some of the things I'd done at Allegheny coming into here because the athletes weren't ready for some of the training or some of the philosophy that came with that. And as we've implemented that, we've seen the team get gradually better, and this is the first year where we have everything implemented that I wanted because the athletes were ready for that with how they prepared in the summer and how the quality of athlete as well.
And obviously the results are there. Yesterday we heard that you were cracked the regional rankings, 8th in the Atlantic region, and I think that's important that the viewers know that there's maybe 50 or 60 teams, give or take, in the region. Thank you, 68. Okay, yep. 60, 70 teams in the region. And first of all, congratulations. And
thank you.
What does that do for the program? I mean, you had said it's the first time ever. What does that do for the program in terms of recruiting, et cetera, et cetera?
Yeah, it's a great thing for recruiting because athletes do see that.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of the schools in our conference are ranked as well. We have the best conference in the region. There's 4 teams that are regionally ranked in that top 10 out of the 10 teams in our conference, and 3 others that are getting votes for it, so that are in the top 15. So to be in that group allows student athletes to see that we are a good team and that we're also in one of the better regions of the country as well, probably the second ranked region. There's 7 teams in our region that are ranked nationally, so we're right on the edge of the national rankings as well.
That's fantastic. This guy here, Bumkoth Jiak, came to you from Syracuse, but not quite right away. You're a freshman from Ethiopia, Syracuse, and then Buffalo State, but you took a little time off before you decided to come here. Tell us about the whole process.
Well, the thing is, before I came here, my goal was to go to D1 school.
Okay.
So I went to a community college just because I have trouble beyond my school background.
Okay.
So I decided to start in the lower level, which is going to a community college, and then I took that year off just so I can save my eligibility for D1 school. You know, yeah, and then it happened to be one of my best friend's sister happened to be assistant coach, and then she recruited me, and that's
and the rest is history. As
yes.
You say. Now, Bumkoth, you're from Ethiopia, and we know anybody who knows a little about running, and that would include me. I know a little about running, not much, but Ethiopia is noted for some great runners over time. And you left Ethiopia when you were 13. Were you one to look up to these runners, and were they heroes to you in your country?
Yes, absolutely. Running is very big thing. It's like a basketball here, back home, and also to be a great runner or great sport or anything, athlete, you have to have some kind of goal, you know. So they've been like running been my dream since I've been watching on the television. And also happened to be one of the Sudanese guys. His name is Lopez Lamung.
Okay.
I've been watching him making the Olympics in 2008 and also in 2012. So he become my role model.
Sure, absolutely, and an inspiration.
Yeah, absolutely. And then,
Lopez was in Bumkoth's program in Syracuse as well through Catholic Charities, the foster family or the foster program was in the exact same program, and was a U.S. Olympian. The last 2 Olympics.
Interesting. Now, I've noticed, Coach, in Bumkoth, that in researching, you seem to be stuck on 26:14 for the last 2 meets. I don't know how that is possible, but is that where he should be right now, and where do you envision him as we come up to SUNY?
That's about where we expected him right now.
I knew you'd say that.
Yeah. He would like to break 26. He would have liked that last meet, but we've still been doing a lot of volume in our training. Early season meets for us are kind of glorified practices. We want to get that competition and get the athletes used to an 8K race, because in high school they do a 5K for the men. So it's to get used to that distance, to see where we stack up despite the training. And a lot of teams do the same thing where they're doing a lot of workouts at this time, but they're definitely not running on fresh legs. So we kind of expected that, and Louisville should be the first time in 2 weeks or a week and a half that we see kind of how fast we run, because it's a little bit lower volume week.
It's amazing, the science of running, and next show we've got to talk a little bit more about that. But it's 26:14, but where do you envision yourself when the year's over and you're at the Nationals?
Well, I don't set goals.
Okay.
My big priority is being healthy.
Great.
I think anything is possible when I'm healthy, and it doesn't matter. I run 23 or 24 right now. It doesn't matter to me. As long as I'm healthy, I know I can do anything big.
Okay. About a minute left, and you had referred to going down to Louisville. And that was kind of an when I saw the schedule come out, I said, whoa, goodness. Yeah. What's the philosophy behind going all the way down to Louisville to run?
Well, we always try to go to at least one large Division I meet, and it's been Lehigh the last few years, and Louisville wasn't much farther than Lehigh, and now most of the teams in our conference go to Lehigh. So when we started that, we were one of the only teams that did that, and it's kind of a thing to set us apart in recruiting, to show that we do go to big meets, we do have big competition, and for athletes, especially like Bumkoth and Alex, who's our second runner, that we're looking Division I, that we still run against Division I schools, and we do the same thing in track, where we try to get those competition for our top athletes, and that helps bring athletes like Bumkoth here, and
absolutely.
So it's definitely a chance to measure ourselves against other divisions and to give our athletes a great experience as well. We always try to go to different places and let them experience different parts of the country.
Fantastic. Well, that's a week from this weekend going down to Louisville. Have a great trip. And Bumkoth, welcome to Buffalo State.
Thank you
Great
very
talking
much.
to you today.
Right.
We are going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk football, and we've got a lot to talk about, so stay with us. Well, congratulations are going out to Pasquale Vacchio, the senior linebacker on the football team. He is our Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week in the incredible 7-6 win over Wisconsin Whitewater, the #1 team in the country and winners of 46 straight games. Pasquale is a history major. He had a career-high 19 tackles and limited Whitewater to just 2.9 yards rushing. And he's also the Empire 8 Defensive Player of the Week. So congratulations, Pasquale. You are the Tim Hortons Athlete of the Week. And that leads us right into football. And we're joined now by the head coach of the Bengals, Jerry Boyes, and Brandon Hodgins, his senior defensive back. And welcome, men. Lots to talk about. Let's get right to it. Wow. I think I texted that to our assistant athletic director when I saw that, and with 18 exclamation points after it. Beating the #1 team in the country, going out 700 miles to do it, winners of 46 straight games, and 3-time consecutive national champions. Is this the gauge you're looking for, Jerry? You've been on this show and you're saying, I'm not sure if we've turned the corner. I'm not sure. And have we turned the corner now? Can we successfully say that?
I will hold and reserve that judgment till the end of the season, Tom.
I knew you'd say that.
One win does not make a season.
Right.
And as I've talked to the players, we've had two very good goes, you might say. But in between those, a disappointing outcome. So have we? Now, what I do hope is that we learned a great lesson from that second week in our game against Brockport. But just like in any athletic with sports teams, you wait and see. Because what I'm concerned of and haven't seen us do is handle success very well.
Well, you've been around Bengal football and around Buffalo State athletics for 25 or so years, and you term this the greatest win in Buffalo State history. In what ways does this win move this program forward?
Well, you hope it does, Tom. But again, time will tell. But going out there and completely kind of unranked and unknown.
Yeah, absolutely.
For these young men to accomplish what they did, sent some shockwaves across Division III football. So now we're a little bit on the national map, and that only helps everything from recruiting to hopefully the demeanor and the level of play that we really are capable of, but now we must see each week.
Right. Brandon, you have been here 5 years now, and Jerry called it the greatest win in Buffalo State history. Obviously, it's the greatest win that you've been associated with, but I'm more interested in your feelings as you kind of look back now. You've seen the low points, and this is obviously a high point. What are the emotions? What have been the emotions for you as an individual being here those 5 years?
Well, when I first got here, we were 1-9. Second season, when Coach Boyes came in, we were 2-8. Then I think we went 4-6. Then last year we were 5-5. And then we have this year. And just starting we were at a low point in the program. It was real rough, but things have turned around, and it feels great to know that we've turned the seniors class has turned this program around, and we're looking forward to the rest of the season.
Allowing 6 points to this team is a great accomplishment for the defense. In your estimation, what were the critical areas that you needed to do Saturday to limit them to 6 points?
Well, first execution, and then just swarm into the ball. If you watch film, there's 10, 11 guys on every single play near the ball, which was just great. And
yeah. He mentioned execution. You always mention execution, no matter the talent. You got to execute. You got to execute. You got to execute. I'd like to talk about two plays in particular. And the first one, you get the ball at your own 25 with about a minute 40, minute something like that left, and you come upon a 4th and 19, and probably everybody in the stands is thinking in Wisconsin, game over. And yet you pull out this play, and it's the hook and ladder play. I don't know what the actual game play is called, but take us through that play, Jerry. And did it set up the way you thought it would set up when you saw their defense? And how does this play work exactly?
Well, they're in a prevent type of a situation, which why not?
Yep.
And, this is a play that Greg Forrest, who's our offensive coordinator, brought to us a year ago. And it's something that we practice each week. And we do it against air with no defense out on the field. So it's the first time we've actually run the play in a game situation. But it's our last play type of a play.
Sure.
Which is, in a lot of terms, a hook and lateral, but what's added to it is an option play. And Ryan Carney caught the pass from Casey, lateraled it to Richard Pete, and Brooks Estefar, who comes out of our backfield, gets in pitch relationship with Richard, and Richard reads the defense. If they come to him, he pitches it to Brooks, which is exactly what happened.
Wow.
So it was just and Ryan Carney's lateral was he probably caught and lateral at the same time.
Yeah.
So it was
Barely
just a great athletic play, and worked out pretty well for us.
And you practice this every single week, and then it happens.
Correct. You always have to plan for all these scenarios, Tom, but you can't talk about it. You have to practice it. So that practice paid off.
And then the winning touchdown play is a 10-yard pass from Casey to Carney. Was that the play that was called? Why was it called, or did Casey have the opportunity to check to that play?
Well, kind of a interesting story, to tell you the truth, Tom, because we had called on the first play. Sherman Nelson made a tremendous catch, but he was out of bounds in the end zone, but caught it and he was pushed out of bounds. And then we ran another play that was a very close, but it was tipped by a linebacker. So there was a timeout, and we were discussing plays, and really we kind of settled on going back to the first play that we had run because of what we had seen. But we had also talked about a slant play, and somewhere between the sideline and the huddle, Casey made a decision, and I got to say, kind of a gut feeling type of a thing, that the slant was where we wanted to go, but he added a little bit of what we call a slant and go, and then he hit a backside shoulder throw that we practice all the time. So a little improvisation there.
Wow.
And it worked out pretty well.
Wow, the greatest game in Buffalo State history, and with some greatest plays in Buffalo State history. We got about a minute left, guys. We're 19th in the country. Cracked the top 20. Coach, got to get their heads on straight. Got a ball game Saturday against Alfred, correct?
Absolutely, Tom. And that's why I look at our leaders with Brandon to make sure that we don't that we have learned a lesson from our second week. Week 1 and week 3 shows us what we're capable of doing.
Right.
Now we have to go out and play at that level each week because, Tom, and this isn't anything that Brandon has not heard me say, anyone on our schedule can beat us. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, I say that if we play to our capabilities, we can beat anyone on our schedule. But it comes down to that, and it comes down to players making plays. And just like Saturday, we had some key plays made, and it led to a winning outcome.
Right. Well, gentlemen, thanks very much for being on the show. We could have talked about this game for about an hour, but congratulations and best of luck Saturday. Tickets for Saturday's game against Alfred. It's a 12:30 kickoff, by the way, on Saturday. $5 right at the gate at Coyer Field. Thanks to football, volleyball, and cross country. We're going to wrap it up here at Balger Hall, and we'll see you in 2 weeks for more Bengal Magazine.